Hi, this is Penny McLean with Flick Direct. I'm going to be interviewing Karl Urban of his new film, Dredd 3D.
Hey, Penny.
I wanted to ask you, growing up as a teenager, I know you're a big comic book fan, and how big was Judge Dredd comic books to you?
Well, I didn't read many comics, but Dredd was one that I did read. It was a comic that you could buy down at the local shop, and I just loved it. I loved the character, you know, the ultimate badass lawman, and I also loved the world of Judge Dredd, the sort of futuristic, dystopian world. Yeah, I found it really engaging.
For you to come to this role, to actually play him after reading the comic books, what drew you?
Well, I guess what drew me to the role was the script. You know, Alex Garland wrote such a wonderful, character-driven narrative. It was action-packed, and it was pretty obvious to me that at the heart of this story was this wonderful relationship between essentially a senior cop and his rookie. And I really enjoyed the evolution of that relationship, and also, you know, being a long-term fan, I was pleased to see that, you know, what Alex had done was authentic to the original comic. So I immediately, actively went about becoming involved.
Talking about your relationship with Anderson, with Olivia Thirlby, how was it from the beginning? Because when you first meet her, you just think that she shouldn't even be a rookie and trying to be a judge, and how it progresses. Take us through that from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, well, that's you know, as I said, you know, Dredd's relationship with Cassandra Anderson is at the heart of the story, and in the beginning of the movie, Dredd doesn't think much of her at all. You know, she's already failed this assessment once, and his opinion that she shouldn't even be there, and through the course of the movie, his opinion of her changes, and for a guy like Dredd, that represents quite a huge crack in his worldview, because for him everything's black and white, and his responsibility as a judge is to make a judgment, and you know, sometimes those judgments can result in life or death outcomes. So for him to have made a judgment, even a small one, about this individual, about Anderson, and then sort of feel like he was wrong, a huge crack for him. And suddenly there's like this black and white world, suddenly there's this whole area of grey, and I think that's really interesting.
I think the funniest line was when you were talking about you forgot to put your helmet on.
Right.
She says that's going to interrupt her psychic abilities. Talking about your uniform and the helmet and your bike, amazing props. I think the lawmaker and your gun and the bike, how was it driving that bike?
Driving the bike was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think one of the most fun days that I had was in Cape Town, driving the Lawmaster through the streets of Cape Town. It was one of those moments where you can't believe that they're letting you do it.
And was it really heavy when you were driving it, with all the machine guns on it?
Yeah, it was. You know, it took a couple of weeks of practice to get really up to speed on it, and to be able to ride it at speed as well.
You looked so relaxed doing that, looked like a normal cop. And how much training or preparation did you have to go through to get to become Dredd?
Well, the training was quite extensive. I did about 14 weeks in the gym just to sort of get into the shape that I felt that the character needed to be, and then we did like a 2-week military boot camp, which I did in full costume. So then that was like 2.5 weeks before the camera started rolling, which was tricky because we were shooting in Cape Town in the middle of a South African summer. So it was an interesting experience. It's a little hot.
And when you put the helmet on for the first time, and then I think it's awesome that you kept it on throughout the film and you kept it very authentic from the comic. How did it feel? Once you put it on, were you Dredd at that point?
Yeah, it felt really good. I mean, you know, all of those elements help you to become the character. You know, certainly I couldn't conceive of doing this film any other way. You know, if you know Dredd, he is this enigmatic, futuristic lawman, and so to do a Dredd movie where you would show my face, it just wouldn't have had an authentic ring about it.
And were you able to keep any of the props? Were you able to keep the helmet or the gun?
I did actually. I have got the helmet.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've got the helmet, so it's yeah, it's a good little memento.
Working with two leading ladies that are so powerful and are so strong and demanding, how was that for you? It
was fantastic. I mean, I think that Olivia Thirlby and Leda Headey are extraordinary talented actors, and it's very rare in a film that you have two strong female archetypes, but in our film we've got these two badass women who are so empowered, and they're the real sort of strength and core of this film.
Well, thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Investigation's over. The sentence is death.